That's a big fish. That's a big fish. That's a big fish, whatever that is. That's a nice bass. What's up guys, Jake Lowry here, and today I am very excited because we came back to the spot that is fishing unbelievably, and we are going to throw a 6-inch swim bait that I think is going to be absolutely insane for the bass in this lake. The reason I think today is going to be such a good day for fishing too is because this lake has the potential for me to pull out a 5+ pound bass, especially using these swim baits in the fall, guys. I've hooked a couple 3-pounders, almost a 4-pounder in this lake right along the bank, and it's gotten later into the fall. The weather's cooled off. It's very, very foggy right now. You guys can see that behind me, and I think that means the big fish are going to be out. I have had, hit or miss luck with these swim baits that are smaller and they're soft plastic. So I'm hoping that these things turn out to be really, really good. And if they don't, we might have to Audible because we did drive 2 hours to get here. That said, I'm pretty excited to take a look at these swim baits. But before, let's take a look at the lake, because this lake is going to be absolutely badass. I'm not going to tell you guys what this lake is because I want to keep this spot a secret, because it is fishing so well. You might be able to find out if you go back in some of my older videos. I think I did mention it, so maybe you guys can figure it out by default. But the fog is out this morning. There's not an ounce of wind in the whole lake. The water is glass. It looks like the water is actually cleared up quite a bit, which is going to be pretty good for the fishing. Last time I was here, the water had like a chocolate milk tinge that made it harder to throw a glide bait, and I did end up catching a couple fish on that glide bait, so we will see. We know there are shad, and they're big shad in this lake, and we know that the bass are eating on shad in the fall. They chase them up those creek arms, so that's going to be the strategy today, is to start at the creek arms and move towards the main lake. I'm going to take the kayak out. We're going to paddle around this thing. We're going to throw along some points. We're going to find some brush. We're going to just overall, I think, have a killer day. Before we take a look at the swim baits, guys, make sure that you guys subscribe if you have not subscribed to the channel yet. Right now, we're within 100 subscribers of 10,000. That is so close, guys. You guys can only help me get to 10,000, and if we do get to 10,000, that is going to be amazing. Please make sure you guys like this video and subscribe, and we're gonna have a killer day of bass fishing. Okay guys, the lures we're gonna be using today are the Berkley Power Bait Cull Shad. This is a 6-inch soft body swim bait. It's not lined through. It is rigged up, and it does have the rigging that goes through the head of the bait. Let's take a look at this lure and see what it looks like. I got 2 different colors, so I'll show you guys the 2 different colors. There is the swim bait right there. This thing actually feels like it has some dense plastic in it, so that should help with its durability. It has some of these like weird hexagonal cutouts that I think they put in there for the action. Only concern there is the cross-sectional area of plastic is smaller, so it might be less durable in that area. It uses the same thing as the soft plastic glide bait from Berkley, that hook connector. That thing wasn't very great, and you do have to be careful about that hook popping out. You might not get as good a hook sets if that hook is popped out. This thing has a lot of flash in it. It looks like it has a very robust way of attaching that hook to the bait, so it looks like it's going to be pretty durable. And that tail has just a ton of action. Hopefully, because this harder plastic, again, it's more durable, but because they cut it out, that tail just flops back and forth, guys. This is in a 6-inch size, which is actually a really good size for bass, only because it still gives you chances to catch numbers on this thing. But I'm not using a giant swim bait. Swim baits are some of the best lures that you can use in the fall, and I think that this thing is going to be absolutely killer today. I'm taking out the other one right now. This is a pretty similar color to the one that I had earlier. It's a little more natural. It doesn't have that shiny flake in it. It is brown at the top and then has like a white pearlescent bottom. This one I think I'm going to try on first, because that water is actually clear, and I think this brown color is going to be a little more natural than that super shiny color. But overall, guys, my first impressions are genuinely pretty solid of these baits, and I think if we end up catching fish on these things for the $10 price point, these things might be really worth it and a really good add to the tackle box. So here are both the baits. I've been looking at these things at Academy for quite a while, but just never ended up purchasing them. Probably a mistake on my end. They make larger sizes, and if these things are, any type of value and they have a good action, they're probably going to be worth the money. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get this rigged up. We're going to test the action along along the boat ramp of the spot just to see it while we're standing up, to see if, you know, we can get a better angle at these lures. And then we're gonna take the kayak out and start fishing. So who knows, maybe we'll catch something at the boat ramp, but if not, guys, I'm pretty confident that with these lures here today, we're gonna end up catching something big. Okay guys, we got the brown one rigged on, the brown swim bait. Before we take the kayak out, let's get this swim bait casted out and see if we can't test the action. I'm gonna make one short cast and then we'll make a couple longer ones. So anyways, let's get it right in front of me. I'm dealing with new line today and okay. The action is like pretty interesting, to be honest, guys. Huh. Let's cast it out again. I don't know how I feel about the action, guys. Okay, when you retrieve it fast, it has a very good kicking and fluttering action, and it retrieves very straight. And it actually has a little bit of a belly retrieve that makes it look pretty good. And what I mean by that is as this bait comes in, that belly wobbles with the tail and kind of the opposite direction of the tail, and it makes for a pretty natural action. Now, my only real concern is if you reel this thing in slow, that bait doesn't have a flutter kick. It has like a more of a move side to side action that's very, very bad, similar to honestly the hangover shad. But if you let this thing get a little depth and then speed up that retrieve, the action is actually very, very favorable. Yeah, guys, so the action's actually pretty good, but again, it's not like the mag draft where you have good action pretty much at any speed you fish it. It's more like the hangover shad where, you know, you have to fish it at a certain speed, otherwise you're gonna get a bad action. But when you do hammer in the right speed, the action is actually crazy, only because of that belly motion, guys. It's not just the tail, it's the whole body of that swim bait that's moving that makes it look pretty killer. But let's get one more cast. Let's let it sink just a hair and then retrieve it. And again, guys, I'm not reeling it in like crazy fast, but I am reeling it in, you know, fast enough to get a good action. So there it is, reeling in. Pretty interesting. The brown color honestly is kind of mid, guys. When you reel it in that clear water, it really lets those colors stick out, and you can kind of tell the inconsistencies in the plastic and the way that it was poured and where that color is. So we might have to switch up to the other more shiny color because this plastic pour is very inconsistent, and you could see that white plastic over top of that brown. When it gets in the water, that white sticks out a little more and it looks, you know, kind of ugly. So that said, we're gonna, you know, take that kayak out and we're gonna cast around and see if we can't catch anything. To be honest, guys, I'm gonna switch right away to the other color. We're not playing around today. We're just gonna go and fish with that immediately, and I'll catch you guys out on the water in the kayak. All right, guys, and we are off. The lake is beautiful today. There is no wind at all. So I'm actually gonna start off in a different spot than I did last time. Reason being, this bank straight across from me seemed to be the most productive the last time I was here by like a lot. You know, there were some fish still back in the backwaters eating on grass and stuff, but I'm looking for those big fish that are out on the main lake, and this bank right here seem to have all of those big fish. Okay, I want to see how this bait looks in the water. I did switch colors only because I wasn't too happy with that other color. This color looks a lot better, guys. It's darker, has a little more flash, and honestly runs a little straighter too. So I'm feeling very confident about today. And hopefully it's just a matter of time until we end up catching fish. We do have brand new 20-pound fluoro line on, and I did not have any real good way of getting it attached. So that's gonna be something to watch today. You know, hopefully as the day goes on, we do get used to using this line. Otherwise, we're gonna have real problems with the line. With a bait caster especially, and a spinning reel too, if you put the line on reel, or you put the line on wrong, you're gonna end up with a bunch of different loops and stuff in your reel and twists. So it's pretty important that you put the line on with the right technique. And so far so good, but closer towards that bottom of the spool where I make these longer casts are gonna be where I really notice a difference. Dude, that could be really bad off the first cast. I'm gonna paddle over to it. I don't wanna get this thing jammed down in there too bad. I must have thrown it right into some brush. Come on. I really hope I don't lose this thing right away. Got it. Man. That could have been bad. This is a really good bank because there's a lot of brush that sticks and hangs out over the bank, and it gives these fish quite a bit of cover. Oh, that was a perfect cast. So this fish can come out and ambush prey out from underneath that cover, and they're safe. Okay. It is also a very snaggy bank. That's probably a little too close to the spot I got to snag in. Back there. There we go. If these fish are ambushing, they shouldn't be too spooky. It's just a matter of getting that lure right in the spot that they're at. Hopefully eventually finding one. Okay, I gotta fix this. When the hook gets lopsided like this on these lures, I've noticed kind of that it does mess with the action. So you definitely wanna watch for that. When you're fishing these, the hook catch is not that good. The Mag Draft honestly had the best hook catch out of any of these kinds of lures that I've tried. And honestly, guys, I might reattempt with the Mag Draft. I want to try that lure again because it was probably the best looking swim bait that I've tried out of all the swim baits. But, you know, sometimes it just doesn't happen with swim baits if the bite's not right. That lure, and then I also want to try the shad. What's that? The 6 cents, whatever that, the hangover shad, that's what it is. I want to try that one too. And see if we can catch a fish with that, because that one is actually going to be a challenge. All right, I'm actually going to switch up the color of the swim bait I have on. Reason it's an opportune time to switch the color is I think this darker color, you know, the other one's pretty much clear, and clear is not what you want to be throwing in muddier water. So I think brown with a little more white pearlescent in it is going to give a better silhouette in this darker water, and you're probably going to be able to see it for a little more depth, which means more fish. You know, a non-ultra clear water style of lure thrown around here, maybe we're going to have better luck. Turned into just absolute glass. This was about the time the fish started biting last time too. As soon as that sun came up, it turned into money fishing. Oh, see what I mean? That was a follower. That was a follower. Whoa. Dang it, guys. We just had the first follower. 100% was a fish. It wasn't huge, but it was a fish. That's one issue I have with these swim baits too. These styles of soft body swim baits is a lot of times you get fish that just follow it. They stick their nose right behind that lure and follow it. They don't bite it. They're not interested in biting it. Oh, that was a bite. 100%. 100% a bite. Okay, guys. We're getting into some fish activity now. Maybe it was a different color. Maybe they could see this color a lot better. Squirrels going ham. It's the time of year for the squirrels to come out. Chasing nuts. All right, guys, we're gonna actually audible early today. I don't think it's gonna happen on these. I think the water's too muddy. We're gonna have to put something else on. So I will catch you guys with the new rig. It's just one of those days. Okay, guys, so I have a Texas rig. This is a black and blue crawl with a 3/8 ounce tungsten weight, and then I have that pegged because I'm gonna be targeting these brushier areas once I figure out how to cast again. And we're gonna see if we can't pull some fish out of these laydowns. The conditions have been just weird in Texas lately. It's been super hot. We're actually in a drought and there's a bunch of fire warnings around here. We had a crazy rainy spring, but the fall has been like relatively hot, like above average temps each day. And it has been not, the best fishing. We're gonna see if we can't figure out where these bass are and what they're biting on, and hopefully we'll learn how to catch them today. I'm gonna keep myself flexible. Gonna keep my options open. I'm still hoping for a fish, guys. Come on. Oh, come on. There we go, guys. So that is a perfect angle. There he is. It's a fish. I don't know how big it is. It's not very big, but oh my gosh, thank God, guys. Thank God. Oh, I knew this laydown was good. Oh my gosh. Let's go, guys. First fish of the day. Caught him on that creature bait right in this wood back here. I've caught so many fish right off the same laydown. This thing is a killer spot. I'm still pretty stoked on that, guys. He's probably not even a pound, but he is hefty and he is full. So if we find those bigger, stockier fish, we might. Whoa, he just sprayed me pretty good. Right in the mouth. If we find those bigger and stockier fish, we might be able to, catch a big fish today. It's just a matter of figuring out what they're biting on, man. It has been quite the struggle, and a dink doesn't really tell you much. That is not a pattern quite yet, but let's see if we can't pick off another fish in this little back area. And again, I still think they might eat a moving bait today. All right, switching it up. I know just the lure I'm gonna tie on, guys. Set that there. Square bill is an option, but I'm not thinking square bill, to be honest, guys, because it's pretty grassy. I'm thinking fire red lipless crankbait. This thing makes a lot of noise. Well, actually, guys, I'm gonna go with the shad color. It should help me attract some fish in this dirtier water. And the fact that is shad color, if these fish are on shad in this lake, it should be the triple whammy for catching fish, guys. That's a big fish. That's a big fish. That's a big fish, whatever that is. That's a nice bass. Jesus, guys. Oh, he's not that big. Right in the top of the head. That's a nice little bass, guys. That's a nice 1.5 pounds. Jesus, he ate it like a tank, though. One of the craziest bites I think I've ever had on a little lipless crankbait. He destroyed it, and it was right at the boat, too, guys. Unbelievable. Man, does that feel good, too. Fish number 2. We've been grinding today. We're, like, limited on GoPro battery. We've never gone through our whole GoPro battery, so I think today we're going to do it. But, man, that felt good to catch fish number 2 of the day on the lipless crankbait. Kind of like I said, we're not going to run into any patterns. What's going to end up happening today is it's just going to be a grind, and you know, we're going to have to just get as many casts in as we can to catch fish, just because the conditions are not how they're supposed to be. That fish is off, and now I got kind of a little tangle I got to deal with. I hooked the kayak. There it is. Man, that fish felt big when he ate. He felt like a toad. Oh, man. All right, guys, that is going to wrap up the video. We had quite the struggle bus today. We started off with a swim bait, didn't end up catching jack on the swim bait. We did have a bite, we think, and a really good follow. And then after that, we threw on the creature bait, ended up catching a nice little fish on the creature bait, which was pretty cool. And then after that, we caught one on the moving bait, which was the lipless crankbait. So it was a pretty decent day. You know, catching 2 fish is always a fun time, and I had a good time out on the water, but I would have liked it to be a little more fast. I fished for like 6 hours today. It's like 3 o'clock. I'm like 2 hours from my house, so it's gonna be a long drive back, but we did have a really, really cool day of fishing. Got talking to some pretty cool old dude, and he got me hooked on some red fishing that I think we're gonna do in the next couple weeks, is take the fly rod out on the bay, you know, behind the Gulf of Mexico, and see if we can't hook into some giant bold redfish. So make sure you guys subscribe if you don't want to miss that, and stay tuned for the next couple videos. Last thing, we are at 9,877 subscribers. So we have 123 subscribers left to get to 10,000. So make sure you guys subscribe if you haven't done already, and make sure you guys like this video so it gets out to more people. Anyways, guys, if you guys like this video, like the video, subscribe if you haven't, and I will catch you guys next time.